Why would you do that interview?
Why not? I done interview all of Dirk, all Vaughn. Why I can't go interview nobody from 4K Trey? Why not go interview NBA D-Dog, the biggest crash out of Baton Rouge? The first thing they said to me was, give me your phone. That interview experience was one of a kind.
Did you at any point feel like you might not make it home?
Hell no. I don't know why he wanted me to hold that flag. I don't want to hold that mother flag.
Hold this, nigga. Hold your life.
And I'm from the streets of Chicago, you hear me? On some GD, BD, Vice Lord type shit. I mean, shout out to 607 Unc.
You see why you had that situation with D-Dog, right? You had that situation with him because you went down there. Okay, cool. That's cool. You could do that. Ain't no the backlash. You could do that. But like when you start bringing up other niggas, yeah, I'm the you know, Vaughn DJ. I ain't trying to hear that shit, gang. That's why I'm a tweet. You feel me? Niggas don't be trying to hear that shit, gang. Cause you know what they thinking? If you used to be around them, nigga, that's your ass too. You gotta understand that too, gang.
And that's definitely how they was playing it. You know
Nah,
what I'm
for
saying?
real
Like,
though. You gotta, bro, niggas gangsters.
yeah, I ain't even had to bring that up.
No, you ain't have to bring that up. I'm telling you that. A lot of niggas probably ain't telling you this, but I'm telling you, gang, you ain't have to bring that up. Yeah, a lot of like, they care. They with Vaughn, but a lot of don't give no fuck about Vaughn. I don't give a fuck about him.
There's a couch in Chicago that the streets have genuinely started to fear. DJUTV built one of the biggest platforms in street media by sitting down with rising drill artists and letting them tell their own stories. But a pattern emerged that got dark fast. Rapper after rapper sat on that couch, did the interview, and within weeks or even days, they were gone. It got serious enough that DJUTV reportedly got rid of the couch entirely after over 10 artists who sat on it either died or went to jail in 2024 alone. These are three of the most haunting cases. Lil Jeff's interview is the one that, looking back, plays almost like he was narrating his own ending in real time. He walked in with his crew, including Q50, the same Q50 who would go on to carry his legacy forward after everything happened. During the conversation, Jeff opened up about his brother Jay Boogie, introducing him to street life young, describing his home getting shot up when he was 14, a bullet passing close enough to his face that it left a permanent mark on how he saw everything afterward. He talked about losing people to that environment constantly, about growing up in what he called the new generation of Chicago drill, watching Chief Keef's rise as a kid in 3rd grade. The conversation eventually turned to a controversial Instagram Live, where Jeff had referenced something people online called a killing school. This came after he and associates had allegedly been connected to 2 deaths, which he reportedly memorialized with tattoos. On the couch, he was vague but unmistakable about it, talking about going dark for a stretch and then coming back, alluding to retaliation without spelling it out directly. He also discussed the January 2024 double homicide of Montario Williams and Robert Boston, 2 BKN-affiliated teenagers killed in broad daylight outside Innovations High School, an incident widely connected to a jewelry dispute involving Jeff. The interview ended on what felt like a hopeful note. He talked about an upcoming mixtape planned around his July birthday, label offers he was weighing, and being asked where he saw himself in 5 years. He never got those 5 years. Less than a year after sitting on that couch talking about not having a target on his back, Jeff was killed in an ambush after allegedly sliding into rival territory with Q50 and others. He was shot multiple times and didn't survive. Lil Scoom's interview is one of the most chilling on record, not because of what he said, but because of when he said it. Scoom was caught up in the long-running conflict between Risky Road and Bloodhound, sparked by disses over a fallen member. He and his circle had been heavily dissing the opposing side following a death many attributed to a stolen gun dispute, and Risky Road had built a reputation as aggressive retaliators. Scoom kept dissing them in videos, apparently without realizing how close his enemies actually were to reaching him. Just hours before his death, Scoom sat down with DJUTV on that same couch. The interview was filmed the night before he was killed. The timing was close enough that clips of the conversation started circulating online almost immediately after the news broke, with viewers commenting on just how unsettling the proximity was. Later that night, Scoom was at a house with friends, including his girlfriend. In footage from that evening, she's heard asking why he didn't go to the back door. He responds asking why he'd need to. She says something to the effect of, "Everyone's going to die," and when he reacts with confusion, she follows up saying she was only joking. Around 11:50 p.m., shots rang out. Scoom was hit twice in the chest and once in the arm. Police arriving at the scene spotted a fleeing suspect, exchanged gunfire during the chase, but the shooter got away. Scoom was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center and pronounced dead in the early hours of July 8, 2024. 800 TJ's story is different from the others because before he ever sat on that couch, he had already built a reputation in the streets as someone known for setting up deadly gun trades that ended in the deaths of the other party. Two separate incidents in early 2020, involving men named Curio and Bando Hothead, ended with both of them killed during what were supposed to be straightforward firearm exchanges with TJ's crew. Those incidents cemented his reputation in the streets, and some members of his group went live afterward mocking both men publicly. When TJ sat down with DJUTV in February 2024, he talked about his ongoing tensions with rival sets and his habit of using Instagram Live to taunt opposition. What made his case stand out from the others wasn't just the interview-to-death timeline, it was what he did in between. After Lil Jeff was killed, a fan posted a tribute photo online. TJ reportedly commented under it with laughing emojis. He then posted Jeff's photo to his own story with a mocking caption, went live with a friend playing Jeff's music in the background while disrespecting him, and allegedly drove through Jeff's old neighborhood live streaming with captions designed purely to taunt people grieving a real death. He was also in an ongoing back and forth with a rival set, at one point bluntly declaring his side was winning 2-0 on bodies. On July 10, 2024, TJ posted about stealing a gun from an opposing member with a taunting caption, daring them to respond. The next day, while riding in a car on Interstate 94, he went live again, openly dissing his rivals and effectively broadcasting his location in real time. Shortly after, masked men reportedly pulled up and opened fire. He was transported to the hospital and later pronounced dead. From sitting on that couch in February, to mocking a dead rival by June, to being killed himself within weeks of that, TJ's timeline is one of the fastest and most self-inflicted escalations connected to the entire pattern. So, what's actually going on with this couch? The honest answer is that DJUTV's platform became one of the most consistent places where Chicago's most active, most exposed drill artists chose to sit down and talk on the record about their lives, their beefs, and their enemies, often in specific detail, often while still actively in the middle of unresolved street conflicts. That's not a curse. That's a pattern of extremely online, extremely visible young men at the most dangerous point in their lives, choosing to broadcast themselves at exactly the moment their enemies were already looking for them. The interviews didn't create the danger. The danger was already there, built up over years of ongoing conflicts, retaliation cycles, personal disputes, and street politics that existed long before any of these artists ever sat down in front of a camera. By the time many of them appeared in these interviews, they were already living in environments where violence was a constant possibility, and where public visibility often came with serious risks. What makes these interviews so unsettling in hindsight isn't that they somehow predicted what would happen. It's that they captured moments in time where these young men spoke with remarkable honesty about the realities surrounding them, sometimes only weeks, days, or even hours before tragedy struck. In Jeff's case, viewers later looked back at his comments about disappearing for a while and eventually returning. At the time, it may have sounded like a normal conversation about taking a step back from the spotlight, but after everything that followed, those words took on a much heavier meaning for people revisiting the footage. Then there was Scoom's interview, which became even more haunting because of a seemingly casual remark made by his girlfriend. What sounded like an offhand joke in the moment suddenly felt chilling when viewed through the lens of what happened shortly afterward. Moments like that are part of why these interviews continue circulating online long after they were first uploaded. TJ's situation was different, but equally difficult for many viewers to watch. For months, he publicly taunted rivals, referenced past violence, and shared information about where he was and what he was doing. Looking back now, many people see those videos and interviews as a real-time example of someone operating under constant pressure while still engaging in behavior that increased the risks around him. That's ultimately why the conversation around DJUTV's couch became so widespread. It wasn't really about a piece of furniture being cursed or supernatural theories. Most people don't genuinely believe a couch can cause tragedy. Instead, the couch became a symbol, a visual reminder connecting multiple interviews that, in hindsight, seem frozen in time right before life-changing events occurred. The reason people keep talking about it is because the pattern feels impossible to ignore. One interview after another documented young men discussing their lives, their conflicts, their fears, their ambitions, and sometimes even the dangers they faced, only for devastating news to follow later. But these aren't ghost stories or urban legends. They're documented timelines involving real people whose lives were already shaped by environments filled with risk long before a camera ever entered the picture. The interviews simply preserved those moments, allowing viewers to look back and see warning signs that may not have seemed significant at the time. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. Which of these interviews affected you the most? Do you think the attention around the couch is simply a coincidence? Or has it become a powerful symbol of the dangerous realities many of these artists were already navigating long before they sat down for those conversations?